If you're looking to make solar simple, give Ron Domenico with AD Energy a call. All-day energy made simple. Solar solutions with zero down, options to lease or finance, and roofs and trees are no issue. Call Ron Domenico at 609-226-2802 and tell him you saw him on the Sports Box.
Well, hello again, and welcome to the show that, well, basically we're the only medication you'll ever need. This is the Sports Box, where the only opinion that matters is right here. I am Mike Glennon, a.k.a. Hamilton Mike, along with my partner, Brian, the Ranger. It's hard. Brian, how are you?
I could actually use some medication. My allergies are kicking today.
We're both struggling a little bit down here, but you know what? The show must go on.
Absolutely.
We will bring whatever we can to you people, even though sometimes you don't subscribe to us. We hope you do.
I mean, you could.
You could, but you know that'd be too easy. But anyway, you can always get us on social media, remember, if you need to.
Absolutely. As you saw in the lead into the show, we're always on Facebook and Twitter at Sportsbox Show. Make sure you're following us there. And, of course, the YouTube channel. For those of you who haven't subscribed, what the blue hell is wrong with you? Subscribe at the end of the show.
And make sure if you're laid up on the couch like we probably will after the show, you can always get the Sports Box. You always watch our videos. But we always have great content for you. Today was pretty much the day the NFL went nuts and everybody starts...
The silly season is here.
Exactly. Everybody starts signing. People get traded. It's all kinds of hell broke loose today. So we're going to recap some stuff for you and, you know, go back and forth a little bit, maybe punch each other, but we'll be okay.
Punch me in the nose so you can like get the mucus out.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good thing. If I hit him so hard, he probably wouldn't worry about the sickness. He'd probably just try to recover from the punch. But anyway.
I would be okay with that.
Anyway, we're in the Philadelphia market, obviously. We're going to talk about the Eagles trade today. Brian, I don't understand it today. You can go with it a bunch of different ways. The Eagles signed Alshon Jeffrey today to a one-year deal for $14 million. You could take it as they're looking to see what he could prove for 1 year and then maybe sign him up, or hopefully that if he does have a good year, the Eagles don't let him get away.
Yeah, you know, the Eagles today had a couple of one-year deals, whether it's him, whether it was Chance Warmack. I think Torrey Smith was a 3-year deal, but it was two club options on that.
1 year deal, 2 club options.
So, I mean, they're doing their best to give Carson Wentz some help. I mean, Jeffrey was the premier wide receiver on the open market.
Yep.
I am a little curious about the term and the money, though. I think rumor has it that he turned down a longer contract with more money in Minnesota. I can completely understand that because Minnesota's quarterback, as everybody here knows, sucks. So, yeah, you know, it's curious. I think he might be betting on himself. He might be, betting on, Carson Wentz having a big year in his second year.
Yep.
From the Eagles' standpoint, I am kind of curious whether they wouldn't want to lock him up longer. From that standpoint, because you could lose him. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they got some weapons for Carson, and they brought some people in that would help the team. But I think they also didn't want to get locked in contracts like they did in the past with Asamoah and all these big name guys that they brought in and gotten screwed on. So I think that they're headed in the right direction. They gave Carson Wentz some options this year, but in the same sense, they left some options open for them to get rid of some people.
Well, and it makes actually, from the Eagles' standpoint, for the offense, you're going to be able to put Jeffrey and Torrey Smith on the outside, which can then again slot Jordan Matthews in the slot where he should be.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely help themselves. I'm just, like I said, I'm curious why the 1 year deals were the way they went to go. I'm curious where management thinks they're headed that way.
I think they just were a little scared, and they just want to, like I said, leave some options open. It was a smart move. But the only thing is, if Jeffrey does have a good year, you're either going to have to pay him big money or he's going to get out of here, and that's kind of a waste of what he did. But in any sense.
But from the Bears' standpoint, it looks like they just let him go. I mean, I'm sure that they could have beat that offer.
Well, with the off-season issues he's had and things like that, that's probably the way he's going to let him go. I mean, he let Cutler go today too, which isn't a big shock.
No,
you get the money off the cap, so I mean, you got to move on from that. But so let's move on to another deal. Campbell from the Cardinals off to Jacksonville, big 4-year, $60 million deal. Here comes the money.
Yeah, listen, Jacksonville was the sweetheart of the offseason last year. They're trying to become that again this year. They're really addressing their defense. They also signed A.J. Bouye from Houston, the cornerback, to a big money deal. 5 years, $65 million, and 26 that was guaranteed. So Shad Khan is writing some checks in Florida. Mike, I mean, you look at that team, I still think the questions are there at quarterback. I mean, again, they invested a high pick, didn't really get what they wanted this year.
Well, let's backpedal a little bit with the Jaguars. Here's a team that, has a lot of money under the cap to do some things. And they just load up with 2 guys on defense where I personally think is the big need right now to go to defense. Yeah, you bolstered your defense up with Campbell, and you got Bouye back there. But in the same sense, okay, you got Bouye and Ramsey on both sides now, which is great.
Sure.
But in the same sense, like Brian's saying, you got question marks at quarterback now. You got a running back who's hurt a lot, and one that hasn't performed in T.J. Yeldon. And then you got Chris Iver, who's been hurt most of the year. Wide receivers are okay, but the big difference is quarterback and maybe a little offensive line help. You just got rid of Julius Thomas.
Yep.
I think you've got to look more towards the offense if you're Jacksonville than the defense right now. I mean, you did pay a lot of money out to 2 defensive guys, which is going to help. But if you're and teams usually win on defense than they do offense nowadays. They go to the Super Bowl, but on this team they have a trouble scoring, and they can't stop. They don't have a hard time stopping people, but they can have a hard time scoring.
Well, the Jags are in division now. You know, Andrew Luck is there. Marcus Mariota, maybe
and you
coming in age.
You got I was going to say you have Titans in there. I mean, that's a team that's gotten better. The Titans.
Yeah, no, I think the Titans are right now probably the favorite to win the division. The way things are looking right now.
Yeah.
But again, they are addressing the defense. I think their corners are going to be good. I'm not an A.J. Bouye guy. I think he's a one-year wonder. He had a lot of pass interference penalties. It's just a guy.
I think he'll be good. Is he going to be that lockdown cornerback they're paying him for? That's going to be determined.
Well, the cornerback who I think might even been a better sign was Stephon Gillmore. Signing with New England.
That was a great move.
Yeah.
Great move.
That's, for them, again, they had the 2 guys on the outside with him and Butler. They're talking about now maybe sending Butler to New Orleans in a Cooks deal.
It just keeps getting better for New England, doesn't it?
It reminds me of it in a really weird way. It reminds me of when Chip Kelly traded LaShawn McCoy for Kiko Alonso and then signed DeMarco Murray.
Yeah.
So you trade the guy you got for something that you think that you need and replace him with a free agent. This might be a little bit in reverse, but
I mean that's
Pats, man.
Listen, you can say what you want about Belichick and that ownership in New England, how they keep winning. You hate the Flake, but look, you look at this move. They brought in Gilmore now. Like you said, they have the flexibility to move Butler around. If they move Butler to New Orleans, you have a corner that's a lockdown corner like Butler, and you brought in another receiver that you didn't think you had again. So now you're going to have Gronkowski and Cooks if you end up getting Cooks. And if not, you keep Butler and Gilmore and lock down the corners. I mean, it's crazy how they think, but I love it.
They are a machine, that team.
Yep, absolutely. And in the same sense, we'll talk about the Buccaneers' big move today. Getting DeSean Jackson from Washington, $11 million. Total deal is $33 million over 3 years. $20 million is guaranteed. I haven't looked closely at the agreement, but I really hope that last year is a one-year deal or is a club option year because DeSean Jackson I think will be good opposite Mike Evans. Cameron Brate coming back. I think the defense. I think the offense now is set for Jameis Winston. So D-Jax, I don't know if he's going to stretch the field that much, but it's another weapon out there. $20 million, Brian, for a 30-year-old guy. That's a lot of money.
I'm a fan of the deal from Tampa Bay's standpoint. Again, they're a team that I think exceeded expectations a little bit last year. I think the expectations are a little higher going into the season.
And we talked about winning the division.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I think it's definitely in the discussion. You put a guy like DeSean on the outside, against Evans. I mean, it's going to be he's going to be able to do what he did, I think, for the Eagles, stretch the field quite a bit and open guys up. You had Cameron Brate emerging at tight ends, probably going to be another solid year next year.
Yep.
They get their running game figured out. Whoever's going to be the starter there.
Wes Rogers, they signed him to a multi-year deal. So
was he going to be the starter or just another guy?
Well, he could be another guy if they go in the draft and draft a running back, but we will see. I think he'll be the main guy, to be honest with you. I think Doug Martin's on his way out in Tampa.
Somebody on the way out of Tampa, though, is going to Chicago.
Yeah, Mike Glennon. I mean, he's probably the best out of the backups, out of the cast, because he's got some game time experience. He hasn't really performed like a stud. Obviously, he's a backup quarterback, but yeah, off to Chicago, $45 million, 19 of it's guaranteed. Unbelievable. Hey, good for him. He's getting the money. Is he going to be the guy that's going to take him over the top? More than likely not. But, Chicago wants to make a move, and they made a splash with Glennon, I guess.
Doesn't this just kind of make the case that I've been trying personally to make for a while here is the quarterback play in the league hasn't been this bad in a long time. When you have guys like Glennon making that kind of money, Brian Hoyer signing a 2-year deal in San Francisco.
Yeah.
San Francisco might be talking potentially Kirk Cousins. We'll talk about that. But the quality of play at the position in the league has been this bad in a long time. You can really count on your one hand how many really good quarterbacks there are in the league right now.
Yeah.
The expectations are lower. I don't know. I don't know what the Bears look like next year. You lose Alshon Jeffrey, so I guess your 2 receivers are Kevin White and Cameron Meredith. I guess
you lost Cutler, but that's not a big deal because he was hurt most of the year anyway.
That's fine. But I mean, I thought that they would look a little different.
You're really erratic at quarterback. I mean, you're going to throw your eggs in one basket with Mike Glennon. I mean, I don't know how. I hope you're looking to rebuild. I I mean, I don't think he's looking to take you over the top.
They got Jordan Howard, who I like, but
Yeah.
I mean, again, that offense is going to be a bit of a problem.
And your defense is a question mark too. I mean, they do have some pieces of defense, but I mean, hey, you threw all your bet. You threw it at Glennon. Glennon, I don't know. I guess that's the way when the salary cap rises, you can do stuff like that.
While we're talking about bad quarterbacks,
that was a smart deal by the Browns, by the way. Let's bring it down.
On the Sports Box, we don't often give the Cleveland Browns credit for a whole hell of a lot.
So, Mike Henshaw, pull up a chair.
Listen, great job. Listen, okay, so, summarize the deal. The Houston Texans got up under that rock named Brock Osweiler. They trade him and a second-round pick to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for a fourth. I believe that the Browns also get a sixth in that deal as well.
There's a sixth, yeah.
So, and there's already talk of Brock getting cut before the end of the first day of free agency.
They didn't have any intention of keeping him.
Just buying a pick, you know. And for a team that has so much cap space, it really doesn't matter. No. From Houston's standpoint, you got to think they might have jumped into the league now for the Tony Romo sweepstakes with the Cowboys. Not a far drive, airplane, whatever for him. But man, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have Savage going into the season as your starter, so they're definitely going to make a move and bring somebody in.
This was their offseason last year, we talked about so much. Oh, they're going a different direction. Brock Osweiler, Lamar Miller, what could that team do? Right. All Brock did down there was absolutely destroy DeAndre Hopkins. That's all I did down there.
And look, they played New England in the first round. Nobody thought they were going to get out of the first round, but New England did struggle in that game. And if Osweiler could have got them down the field a little bit, they may have had a chance in that game, but they couldn't move any kind of offense in that game, and I think that was the telling tale. That was the ticket Osweiler punched out of town. Again, Cleveland, great move.
Now listen, it's really, really smart, and I think that for a lot of these teams, as the salary cap keeps going up, and you're going to run into a situation where you just don't have enough people to sign.
Yeah.
Especially if you have guys on longer-term deals that are already locked in. For Cleveland, what are they losing? Money that they weren't going to use anyway. So
well, the problem with Cleveland is they have so much money. Where are they going to allocate it?
Sure.
Are they going to bring in 4 guys and just go nuts paying them, or are they going to try to fill needs and bring mid-level players in? I mean, here's a team that I think, should they draft another player, get in the top 5? They don't have a good track record of doing that. So should they back up like they did last year? They probably shouldn't have backed up. They probably should have taken Carson Wentz. But here's a team that just can't get it right. So you just hope with all the money they have in the league and the character going up, they got to make the right moves eventually. I mean, this is a step in the right direction.
No, it's a huge step in the right direction. Yeah. I mean, Osweiler, I don't think he's going to play there, which is perfectly fine. No. Again, I think what would be interesting is, and you look at some of the free agents, Mike, that are still out there, the name that really, just pops out at you is Terrell Pryor. Had a great year in Cleveland, of all places.
I'm surprised he hasn't signed with anybody yet.
Well, I mean, we're only, it's at that first day still, but...
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, you look at there's rumors of Kenny Britt possibly going to Cleveland, leaving the Rams. That has not been made official yet, so that's still a rumor.
Well, that supposedly is.
Well,
it's not official, but it's
everything's done. Everything's done until it's not, and then you
got Kenny still staying put in Miami.
Sure,
Eagles were a high commodity for him, but Miami kept them, so that's fine. The rumors are though that Lacey, running back from Green Bay, and Latavius Murray. On their way to Seattle, talking to them about possibly fitting both in there. So that would be a good fit for that.
I guess if you're the Seattle running game right now, you're a little worried who's going to take your spot.
Yeah. You got 2 guys out there right now battling over a spot. Now that this is going to happen, so Pierre Garçon now off to San Francisco, $16 million his first year, unbelievable.
Well, they have all the money in the world.
Yeah, but again, here's an organization that's trying to get it right. I know you want to make the big splash, but do you really want to give Pierre Garçon $16 million? There's nobody else out there.
Well, you want to talk about a guy who I think is going to get really overpaid is Martellus Bennett.
Yeah.
So he's been a guy who's been around the league. It's been okay, but he didn't really blow up until he went to New England. Well, you got Tom Brady.
They're not going to be able to keep him this year.
No, absolutely.
And then, why would they? You got Gronk coming back, will be healthy, hopefully. And, Martellus Bennett did his job in New England.
Yeah.
He's off to get the money.
A couple other guys. Micah Hyde leaving the Green Bay Packers in that much maligned secondary, not replacing, he's a strong safety, going to Buffalo, who obviously just lost a big guy to the Patriots. But, again, a lot of money getting thrown around. The Browns as well with Kevin Zeitler going cross state from the Bengals to the Browns. Big deal there to help their offensive line.
Yep.
For whoever their quarterback's going to be. But, still a lot of big name running backs.
Eagles still in the hunt for Jamal Charles. I don't think it's a good fit. If you get him for 1 year, under $2 million, maybe
it's all about 1 year.
They're going to get rid of Ryan Matthews. He's gone. So you're going to have to fill somebody in there. DeMarcus Ware, looking to go back to Dallas, which I find interesting. DeMarcus Ware, feel good story.
The jersey's here. You guys can't see it.
Yeah, it's still there. Feel good story. I think DeMarcus Ware, kind of on the downside of his career, going back to Dallas where he started. That's all that is really. Yeah, I mean...
Nick Fairley re-signed. Barry Church left the Cowboys to go to Jacksonville. The thing about the Cowboys right now, it's kind of curious to me, is, while this whole Tony Romo thing unravels, they are losing some guys.
Yep.
I don't necessarily know if they're guys that they can't replace. Ron Leary left as well.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't think that's really of any concern, frankly.
Patterson from the Vikings, rumored to be going to San Francisco. It's not definite yet, but that's the rumor out there. We don't hear Colin Kaepernick anywhere.
No.
You actually hear, we talked about earlier, Cutler got released. The Jets are one of the suitors looking for him, and I think it's more than likely if Osweiler does get released from Cleveland, he could be a possibility to go to the Jets.
We always talk about the Browns as like the quarterback carousel. How about the Jets? Every year it seems like there's somebody new. They draft Christian Hackenberg. Guy hasn't played a snap, not getting a sniff apparently.
He's not going to get a sniff this year either.
And what's funny, I love a sniff. I can't smell anything right now.
They fought tooth and nail to keep Fitzpatrick. We're not going to give you as much money. They ended up giving him the money, and he ended up, not doing that well anyway. So, like you said, there's a team that just can't get it right. It's just amazing some teams in the NFL that just get the money, and they're consistently bad every single year. Even when they change GMs, they change this, they change that, they're still consecutively bad. Like we talked about the Browns.
They never bring the right management.
The Browns, I feel bad for Jackson, because I like Jackson as a coach. It's just that this organization, when are they going to get it right?
Yeah.
And we're going to see after the draft, because we're going to have our grades.
A lot of draft coverage.
We're going to start talking to get our affiliates from each team and see where they're going to go. And talk about overpaying. The Rams pay. They give Rodgers? No, was it Woods?
Robert Woods from the Bills. Yeah.
They gave him I'll say it here. It's not a kiddie show. A shitload of money to go to the Rams when this guy's been in the league 4 years. And what has he done? It's just amazing to me some of these guys can get this much money.
It's the salary caps, man. The money's there. And you want to talk about money, right? So you look at Glennon's contract. Who should really honestly be really upset at Glennon's contract is teams with young quarterbacks like the Eagles and the Cowboys, the guys that are going to have to get these deals upcoming. Even a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was asked, what's this affect you? I'm like, well, you got to look at my contract now.
Yeah,
I'm not exact quotation, but
Ted Ginn Jr. off to New Orleans.
Well,
that's,
if Cooks doesn't stop returning
kicks,
then you need a kick return.
You really can't. Well, I guess you really try to move Cooks now with that move. I mean, is Ginn going to be your main guy? There's guys in the league. There's teams in the league that can't do anything, like the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles did a lot of small deals.
I'm curious. Like I said, again, from their standpoint, I'm trying to wrap my head around like what the plan is. Are these prove it to me deals, and then we'll give you a longer term deal? Are they just not trying to get anybody under contract for the year after? I'm not sure what the free agent class looks like next year. I'm not that far ahead, but they're keeping their options open. And for a team that honestly I don't think makes the playoffs this year, I think that's probably the best thing that they can do.
The interesting thing about that is normally in the second year of a quarterback, especially as young as Carson Wentz, they now have film on him. So now I'm not going to say is horrible this year, but he may take a step back this year. So the Eagles brought all these players in to help Carson Wentz, and they're 1 year deal. So if he does struggle but has decent chemistry with say Torrey Smith and maybe Alshon Jeffrey, Jeffrey has a chance of leaving next year, and Torrey Smith has an option for 2 years out of the club option. So it's kind of lesser of two evils.
I'm a big the quarterback makes the receiver guy, but in Wentz's case, I mean that was a what was it, the worst group in NFL history?
They're bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't even cut Aguilar, because if you cut Aguilar,
cost you money.
It'll cost you money. So you're going to hold on to him and just suffer through with him.
He's going to have his own personalized bench seat. Is going to say Nelson on it.
You bring two guys like this, and you would think he's out of the rotation, obviously.
Well, I think the good thing for the Eagles, and we talked about this as far as their draft strategy goes, is that this now allows them to go defense in the draft.
Yeah, they have
at least from the short term.
You have to go cornerback, folks. You can't talk running back. I know there's been talk getting Dalvin Cook from Florida State. You can't make that pick at 14. You take a running back. I know you need a running back with the loss of Ryan Matthews. Sproul's not going to be around that much longer, but you got to go cornerback.
Interesting point you bring up there with Cook at running back. Him. a couple other guys that might be first-round picks this year.
Yep.
Leonard Fournette as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the success that Elliott had last year in a game where we talked about it too, running backs don't really go high anymore. Right. So now, do you think that it's possible that the way Elliott played and how great he was for Dallas, that's kind of opened that door back up again to have impact players at running back?
I don't think so, because Elliott was coming into the NFL as a stud. He was a solid player, and behind that line, that just gives him more of a power. Would he be like this against the Eagles? Probably not. He'd probably be a good player, but he wouldn't have. We did the year with 12 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns. He wouldn't have that with it. I mean, that line really helps out. And it's just like Denver. You look at Denver plugging in running backs, Ball. I mean, guys in the past, Davis. You got guys there that just fit that system. So there's a lot of running backs that can be in the draft this year. There's a lot of good cornerbacks in the league too, and I think the Eagles cannot pass on a corner this year. You want to load up on offense. You want to score. But you also got to stop people, and they don't have a corner right now that can do that.
Well, the one thing, whoever the Eagles' corner is going to be, doesn't have to worry about anybody from the Redskins. Obviously, DeSean Jackson leaving for Tampa.
Yep.
Pierre Garçon leaving for San Francisco.
Cousins asking for a trade. I mean, that team is imploding right now.
But you know who I think is a really big beneficiary of all of this? If they get their quarterback thing figured out, and I don't know that they're going to or not.
No.
But you look at who's going to be left there at receiver for Washington. You look at a guy named Josh Doctson, who was their first-round pick last year. Didn't really play in his first year.
They do have Crowder.
Jamison Crowder again. Yeah. So I think you're going to see guys step up and replace that.
Yeah, but the quarterback situation, Cousins has formally come out and asked for a trade. And, for anything, the GM there is supposedly in control, but they're thinking about moving him out. It's just a mess in Washington right now. You lost both receivers.
Yep.
The quarterback wants out. Your GM's in flux. What's going on down in Washington? I don't know. They could be last in the division this year.
But I don't know that there's going to be a team out there willing to, A, give up assets for Kirk Cousins,
true.
And then B, give up the money for Kirk Cousins, especially a year away from when he's probably going to be a free agent.
Right. He wants to go to San Francisco, obviously with Kyle Shanahan again, his old coach, but in the same sense, you go to San Francisco, you're going to go up that much for Kirk Cousins?
Now we have that many holes.
You know what? If you do that, he's your future. You got to roll the dice with him the rest of the way
I'm
out.
not a Kirk Cousins guy. I don't know what see. It goes back to NFL. To quarterback.
Yeah, I think Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback for Washington to keep franchise tagging him. I mean, you're going to lose him one of these years, but in the same sense, who's going to get up that much for Kirk Cousins? There's not a lot of teams out there that'll do that.
Yeah.
But it's to be very interesting. We're going to have some more coverage for you on the free agent trackers. We're having a good time with this. We're stunned that the money's going out, but obviously
I'm the wrong line of work.
Yeah. But real briefly, let's check out our sponsor.
This episode of the Sports Box is brought to you by Mic'd Up Entertainment and DJ Mike Velardi. For all of your event planning needs, make sure you contact Mike at 609-864-5925 and tell him that you saw him on the Sports Box.
So like we said, we're going to have you got to stay here. We're going to have some great coverage for free agency. Brian, anything to add with the rumors going around?
No, I mean, again, I think I'll be curious to see where some of these guys that didn't get their job done early, didn't get signed early. Terrell Pryor is going to be really interesting to me. Because I just don't know what he is yet.
I think he stays in Cleveland.
Well, they got the money to do it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Cleveland, the way they're spending the money right now, I think they stay with.
They just spent $16 million to buy a second-round pick.
Yeah, well,
I'd do it.
It happens.
I'd do it. Why not?
Salary cap went up. What the hell? And they're the number one team in the league. They had over $100 million to spend this year. So
yeah.
I think they keep Pryor. I don't think they let him get away. I think he's somebody that had a good year. Is he proven in the league for 1 year? He's had a proven year. I think he gets a 3 or 4 year deal with Cleveland personally. I don't think he goes anywhere else because if you're going to go somewhere else, it's going to get overpaying. And I don't think anybody's going to pay a 1 year guy that much money. Yeah. But who knows? Mike Glennon got. How much did he get?
Mike Glennon.
I got $45 million for 3 years. Oh, Mike.
That's unbelievable.
Mike.
That's still unbelievable.
Thanks for your service with the Bucs, man, but enjoy the money, man. That's unbelievable. $45 million. Anyway, thank you for watching. We always appreciate it. And remember, you can always get us on social media. Let me just tell you got to subscribe to the Sports Box Show on Twitter because I've been blowing it up with tweets, keeping you informed, giving you free agent things. A lot of good stuff on there. You got to get on the Twitter feed. It's unbelievable.
That, and don't forget the Facebook.
Facebook too.
We have wonderful. We have our WWE set right now. Talking about the 33 days of WrestleMania. Looking back, it's been great.
If you haven't got on YouTube, what the hell are you waiting for?
Wow. You're on it right now. It just hit right click and subscribe. What the hell's the problem?
You get all the content. You get all our stuff. It's beautiful, and especially with the NFL free agency, we're going to have.
The NFL season never ends. Not in the sports box anymore.
No, and wait till our draft coverage. We're going to have stuff after. Oh, it's going to be. You're going to blow your mind. You might orgasm on the couch watching this. It's unbelievable.
We're not paying for the upholstery cleaning.
No, we're not. It's definitely not guaranteed. So anyway, thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. And remember, at the Sports Box, the only opinion that really matters, folks, still right here. Thanks for watching. Brian, smile at the camera.
I'm always smiling at the camera.
See.
I can't breathe right now, though.
See.
If you're looking to make solar simple, give Ron Domenico with AD Energy a call. All-day energy made simple. Solar solutions with zero down, options to lease or finance, and roofs and trees are no issue. Call Ron Domenico at 609-226-2802 and tell him you saw him on the Sports Box.
Don't forget to subscribe.